Why the person is having headache. Headaches could be because of uncorrected cylindrical power in the eye. It could be because of sinus, could be because of migraine, it could be because of cervical issues.
So what are the kind of refractive errors are there, and how can you explain it to our audience?
Primarily, there are three refractive errors. First of all, it is myopia, which is prominent in almost around 65 to 70% of the population. And then it is hypermetropia and age-related presbyopia.
How accurate is this autorefractometer?
Autorefractometer is not very accurate, so it doesn't give the accurate reading. So there would be two focal points which are formed in the same optical condition. So in that case, the two focal points are there, so the blurry image would be formed in one eye.
The eye is a very complex structure. Can you explain it a little bit in overall, just to make people understand how it works?
It's nothing like just the camera.
Yeah.
So it has a retina, it has a lens. It's basically an optical system, which is, and this optical system is basically, takes the image and transmits it to the brain.
Hi, Ashutosh. Welcome
Hi.
to Talking Through. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
So, please.
No, totally our pleasure here. Before we go any further into this discussion, it will be great if you could introduce yourself to the audience. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. So, I am Ashutosh Sharma. I am an optometrist, and I've done my graduation from All India Institute of Medical Sciences way back in 1994. So, since the beginning, I used to work with Dr. Hari Mohan, who in those days used to be ophthalmologist for the President of India. So worked with him. Thereafter, I switched over and I worked for corporate, which is Bausch & Lomb. And then, due to some certain unavoidable circumstances, I got into my own. So since then, I'm working for my own self.
Yeah.
So and my practice is in Janakpuri, and it's a full-fledged optical outlet. So we call ourselves dispensing opticians. So I'll elaborate what is the difference between a normal optician and a dispensing optician. So
Right.
that way.
Sure. So just to get this discussion rolling, why did you choose optometry? Like, you could have chosen a lot of other things, right? But you chose optometry. Any specific reason?
No, that was very honestly, it was not my first choice.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a surgeon initially. So I tried and dropped my 2 years for that. So ultimately I got into dentistry and Ayurveda also. But that was not my calling. So then my father once said, why don't you get into this? And we shifted from Guwahati to New Delhi in the same year. And luckily for me, we were just staying next to All India Institute of Medical Sciences. That's in INA. So probably that proximity must have initiated my journey towards this direction.
Yeah.
So my father, he went and he got me enrolled for the examination. So I cleared the exam, and then it's all things of the past.
Right.
So that way.
So
it was not my first choice, not first preference. But I am still enjoying because it's anything related to medical field only. So that way.
now I'm just going to dig in just a couple of questions for your setup that you have as a dispensing optometrist. When you set up your business, how was it different being in a corporate or practicing with a doctor and having your own business? How's it different?
It's a very difficult transition, I must say. See, in my interview once with the corporate thing, before I applied for a job in their organization, there was a question: why do you want to get into this? You have you are qualified to impart the knowledge and be on the other side. So I just gave them a little. I wrote like, I want to go to the client to fetch the work, not sit on the other side and wait for the work to come.
Right.
But unfortunately, some physical problems got me into this. So, but this is the calling now. So I started my own journey in 2002. Since then, it's on.
Yeah.
And starting from scratch, it's a very difficult thing to start on your own. Because once we started in a place where there were almost more than 40 people making glasses. So it was not easy to establish yourself. So, but I had a technical background, and fortunately for me, I was accepted by the people around, and so here I am. So that way.
Great. So generally, when you are running your business, what do you think people come back to you for, right? Like they can come to you once and then they could then go to somebody else later on, but people come to you repeatedly. What do you think?
There are 2-3 factors actually. In your own practice, you have to be very clear of your motives. And clear of your objectives. Plus, I mean, the other person should know that we have entrusted something on him, so he must be doing good. So I've proved that thing time and again. So that is the reason people come back, because we give quality, we deal into quality products, and the most important thing is how we come across the client. Being disciplined, having people who work with me, they also are disciplined, they are knowledgeable. So we hired people who were fairly good, knowledgeable people. Or if somebody was not, so I personally send them to train, get the training done, feedback from people that mild manners, these are all factors which count.
Okay. So now we'll dig into a little bit of your technical optometrist. So before we get into anything more specifics, I would like to know from you, what are the general misconceptions people have about, health, eye health or optometry? How do you deal with that?
They specify we are having this particular problem. So how do we go about? We are in India, so we it's a very mixed field out here. So had it been abroad, optometry is the first line of contact, wherein you get in touch with the optometrist first rather than going directly to an ophthalmologist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, the optometry field is not so recognized even by the government. Though the fact is that the optometry has grown independently without any push from the government. So, but we definitely try to probe and try to prod what exact problem the customer is facing, the patient is facing. So the misconception, we have to clear the misconception also. If somebody comes over, I'm having headaches. So there could be probable cause why the person is having headaches. Headaches could be because of uncorrected cylindrical power in the eye. It could be because of sinus, could be because of migraine, it could be because of cervical issues. So we have to just separate, and we have to advise accordingly. So, and if it comes from a professional, it is taken. It is taken.
Right. So what do you think or know about are the early signs of somebody's vision going a little blur? Right.
Much into the entire population, what exactly the eye refractive errors are. Around 25% of population, according to the Oxford Handbook of Ophthalmologists, around 25% of population which is suffering from refractive errors. And according to the WHO, around 153 million people are, suffering from refractive errors in the population, in the entire population. Out of them, around 55%, 55 million are in India only. Early signs में यही आता है कि somebody comes with I have a loss of vision, I'm not able to see at a distance, I'm not able to see near. So we have to deal it accordingly, considering if it is a child, considering it is an old person or a middle-aged guy. So, but the first step should always be taken at home.
Okay.
Dealing at a very young age. So at a very young age, the mother or the parents, they should be in a position to identify a kid by trying to identify what exactly is he responding to the comfortable distances. Then if somebody has a problem, then they definitely drop in. So, but again, there are two ways. Either they drop in directly to us or they go directly to the ophthalmologist.
Okay. So, when people come to you and they haven't been to an ophthalmologist before, do you recommend them to an ophthalmologist first and then you tell them to come back, or you say fine?
No. We directly deal it. We directly deal it since the technical background is there. So normally I take care of what exactly the problem could be. If it is beyond my preview, so I definitely refer it to an ophthalmologist.
Okay.
But otherwise, age point of view, problem, we deal it here. Then many people who directly come to us.
Oh, okay. All right.
So because since I've been into the profession and into that particular area, so people have recognized this guy knows a little bit. So
what are the kind of refractive errors are there, and how can you explain it to our audience, please?
Okay, primarily there are three refractive errors which we normally deal in. First of all, it is myopia, which is prominent in almost around 65 to 70% of the population. And then it is hypermetropia and age-related presbyopia. Right. Age-related presbyopia means when somebody starts needing glasses for reading.
Right.
At the age of 40 or above. Right. And myopia is basically, in layman's term, it's short-sightedness. And short-sightedness means you can see anything which is at a closer distance, but far objects are not very clear.
Right.
Similarly, and the third one is hypermetropia. Hypermetropia is basically wherein you can see at a distance, but near is not as comfortable as it should be.
Okay.
So these are three refractive errors which normally we deal in. And somebody who comes in to us with a problem, so this is the first line of treatment which we normally try to do. And we go about by testing the vision first. And if there is a dip in testing, then the entire process starts. If somebody is below the age of about 8 to 10 years, then we need to dilate. Then we need to dilate, and the whole process goes into double sittings. And if it is somebody which is above the age of about 12 and something, we normally start the refraction process. And refraction is basically two-pronged strategy. One is a subjective method and one is the objective method, which we normally try and do both to finalize a PAR. Subjective is what we ask the patient whether he's able to see things clearly or not. We have a set of, it's called Snellen's chart, so which we make the person read. So, and the other point is, the objective method. Objective method is the process wherein we normally, figure out what the power could be, because with the help of instruments. With the help of instruments. And instrument is called around autorefractometer.
Okay.
So is
how accurate is this autorefractometer?
Autorefractometer is not very accurate, so it doesn't give the accurate reading. But it's contemporary. You cannot avoid it.
Just one more question: can somebody have myopia and hypermetropia at the same time?
Myopia and hypermetropia at the same time, no, it is not possible. And though there is a combination of plus and minus powers, so you can say remotely it is possible, but practically it is not possible, because we give power whenever the power is given. Sometimes there is a combination of plus power and the negative power in the same for distance.
Right.
So we should not confuse plus power as if it is a hypermetropic or it's a presbyopic, because even in case of presbyopia we get the things corrected with the help of plus numbers, and for hypermetropia it also gets corrected with the plus numbers. Myopia we use negative numbers, so which is called the concave lenses, or plus is the convex lenses.
So when people come to you, and you must be giving them a lot of choices, this is the lens, this is the frame, what are some of the good things to keep in mind while choosing that?
It's a mix of, it should be a blend of contemporary, trends of frames, what you can choose from. But there is a technical part also attached to it. The frame should not be too huge, it should not be too small, considering the kind of power you have. If it is a very high power, so giving a very huge frame would not be a very advisable thing. Reason being, when it's a high power, so we need to go in for a thick lens. High power is corrected by a thick lens.
It gets you a thicker.
Yes. So if we go for a bigger frame, so more amount of peripheral thickness gets fitted into the frame, so it doesn't look very good. So aesthetically we need to go now to counter all that, so we can always select few refractive indices of the lenses with different refractive indices. So those are the lenses which we need to make the person understand and go by accordingly.
Sure. So I'm asking this question because in India people are very price sensitive, right? So like how is the pricing like generally for good lenses? And
pricing, see, it's a very sensitive topic. Price sensitive is a very people are price conscious, but at times price sensitivity takes over your quality.
And now there has been a shift where people have started to move towards contact lenses, right?
True.
So can you explain a little bit about contact lenses? Like how are they technically different or similar to normal specs or glasses? What is the difference in the vision? Who should wear it and who should not?
Okay, see, contact lenses, going by the history of a lens, of contact lens. History of a contact lens is basically it was identified that something of this kind can happen. It was done by Leonardo da Vinci a long time back, somewhere in 1500. Thereafter, with time, gradually the product got improved and the major companies got into it. So it's basically a polymer. In the early days, if I want to categorize, the lenses are into three categories. First of all, it is a hard lens, which is again a polymer, which is polymethyl methacrylate. It's an old polymer. And then there is a semi-hard lenses. Semi-hard lenses, and then comes the soft lenses. So the soft lenses now, they are more prevalent, and nobody goes for those hard lenses. Then in case of soft lenses, in case of semi-soft lenses, it used to be there, the vision is very crisp and very clear, but they're not very comfortable. So that is the reason there was a shift from hard to semi-soft and then to soft lenses, and now from soft lenses to even more thinner disposable lenses. They are also soft lenses. Now the futuristic material is the lenses made from silicon hydrogel. So they are more comfortable, they're more healthy for the eye, and the best part why we shifted from a normal traditional soft lenses to the disposability concept was the hygiene. Right? Though more frequently you replace your lenses, more healthier it is for the eye.
Right.
So that is the basic concept behind the contact lenses, and shifting from this hard to soft and more softer lenses.
Right.
But in case of contact lenses, we normally give it for a vanity purpose also, and the other is a therapeutic point from which we normally give the lenses. There are certain eye conditions wherein we need to give only semi-soft lenses, like keratoconus and others. So there are very different eye conditions wherein probably we would not suggest soft lenses.
If I'm wearing a spec and I want to move to a contact lens,
True.
right? Then what are the things I should be keeping in mind in terms of hygiene or any other things I need to take in, before I really adopt that?
First of all, the most important thing which I mentioned earlier also is the hygiene. And though there is no doubt in understanding that contact lenses gives you more comfort, it gives you more wider vision, which normally a spectacle cannot give you. Because of the borders, your vision gets restricted. Wherein in contact lenses, it is placed on the cornea, so wherever you move your eye, your vision is similar. Right. So it gives you more wider vision. That is the reason why it is preferred more. That is basically now selection of the patient. That is more important. So I would not suggest anybody who is little clumsy, who is not able to maintain hygiene, who sleeps with the lenses on, which is really not a good idea to do, and who follows instructions and follows instructions with discipline. That is more important. So if any of these criteria is not met, we try not to meddle into it. So that is basically the thing.
So now, apart from the glasses and contact lenses, people want to also remove their chashma together, right? Altogether, that they don't want this at all. So they would want to go for a LASIK or a similar surgery. So can you explain what LASIK is and who should go for it and who shouldn't?
True. The true candidate for a LASIK surgery, first of all, the LASIK has also evolved a lot. It has evolved a lot. So it's basically an invasive surgery and purely cosmetic purpose. And it has developed to certain level wherein it's all digitized now, it's all computer related, and it's all AI based. So selecting a patient would be its best results are between the age group of about 21, 22 till 36. So you get the best results, and the best powers on which one can be operated is between 2 to 6. So for the better results. So these are the but nowadays and cylindrical powers were not used to be corrected earlier. Now everything is taken care.
And what do you mean by cylindrical power?
Cylindrical power is basically the part of your prescription wherein, if I explain it to you in a little technical term, like in a case of a spherical object, any ray of light which passes through that spherical object gets focused at a single point of focus, right? It has a single focal point. On the contrary, if your eye or if any optical object is not proper sphere, it is an elliptical object. So any elliptical object, for example, it's a rugby ball. If you see a rugby ball, the cross section of one side is different, and the curvature on the other side is different. So there would be two focal points which are formed in the same optical condition. So in that case, the two focal points are there, so the blurry image would be formed in one eye. because the correction is not proper in one eye. So in case of two focal points, we need to add a particular lens which acts only into a certain plane, which is called axis. And the idea is to bring two focal points nearer and nearer to make it a single focal point. So that is an extra power which is given in a particular axis, is called cylindrical power.
Oh, all right. So thank you for explaining that. And then once you get a refractive error in your eye and you're wearing a contact lens or a spectacle or whatever, what are some of the precautions that somebody should take that it doesn't get any worse? So how do you recommend that can be done?
Don't get worse in the terms like your power doesn't increase.
Yeah, your power doesn't.
That you can't control.
Okay.
Nobody can control that.
Okay.
So it is a normal, ever-changing process, because eye is a very dynamic structure. So the power, if somebody has hereditary myopia, as the person grows, so the power can also change because the size of the eye is changing. So the size of the eye changes, the curvature changes, the curvature changes, the power also changes. So the entire thing happens till the age of about around 18 to 19 years of age.
Okay.
So till that time, chances are that your power can get changed frequently. So we suggest people to come back after a year for a regular and routine checkup. People do follow. So they're very aware nowadays.
Yeah, right. So basically there is no control on that. It can happen on its own.
It can happen. It happens on its own.
Right.
So a new lens has come in case of spectacles. New lenses are there, which are basically a myopia control lenses. So but the age range is between 5 to 15. And there are various methods where we normally deal with these kind of problems by way of medication, by way of spectacles, and by way of contact lenses also.
Right.
So this is the new age, process which is in these days.
So since you said that the eye is a very complex, structure, can you explain it a little bit in like overall, just to make people understand how it works?
See, it's nothing like just a camera.
Yeah.
So it has a retina, it has a lens, and it's a optical system. It's basically an optical system, which is, and this optical system is basically, takes the image and transmits it to the brain through the optic nerve. That is how you see the image. Optical system is basically just like a camera, and where you see it in a camera there is a film. In the eye it is retina.
Okay.
So the image is formed on the retina. And how the image is formed? Image is formed when the ray of light which crosses the eye, which falls on the eye, and it gets focused on the retina.
Right.
And therein, if that is how your refractive errors are also measured.
Right.
If it falls on the retina straight away, so it's it's clear eye. There is no refractive error. We call it emmetropic. So if by any chance it is falling ahead of the retina, then there is myopia. If it is falling behind the retina, then it is hypermetropia.
Right.
But how does it fall? The nature's beauty. In eye, there is a lens, the combination of lens, which is of 60 diopters. 60 diopters, if I try to make a lens outside in a plastic or in a glass monomer, it becomes so thick. But the nature has developed such a beautiful system that it's a very small lens and a little curvy cornea, and unitedly they give you the power in the eye, which is about 60 diopters, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
That helps in focusing the image on the retina. And after it falls on the retina, it is transmitted to the brain, which perceives the image.
So these days we are spending a lot of time in front of mobile phones, laptops, screen images, right? And it does have an effect on your eye because it strains it.
It strains, causes dryness. Right.
So how do we keep our eyes healthy in this environment? What do you
See,
say?
first of all, in my discussion with a certain gentleman, he said, "Ki, what is the purpose of eye?
Yeah.
To see only, na?
Right.
So we can't avoid all these things.
Yeah.
So, but the point that what we can do is we can always try and help it see better.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain products which are now available in a way like. There are blue cut lenses, blue light protective lenses. There is a spectrum, as you all know. The VIBGYOR is a spectrum. So out of that, the blue light, a certain part of blue light is harmful and certain is helpful. So we need to, save the eye from the harmful lights. So we have a certain lens. Which is in general term is called blue light protective lenses or blue guard lenses. They protect the they cut the unwanted light, blue light, and make the rest of the light fall on the retina. Which ultimately, there is a chemical composition called melatonin, which normally helps in your sleep processes. So it helps producing melatonin, and that helps your sleep cycle.
Okay.
And but the sad part is many blue light blocking lenses are available which cut out the entire blue spectrum, which is really not healthy for the eye. Those are cheaper, so that is the reason people unknowingly they go for them.
Right.
So that is the only issue. Second thing is like there are certain all the companies also take care of the eye stress which is causing while watching your mobile. So the mobile do have night vision modes. Your computer screen do also have blue light protective covering.
Right.
So along with us, other people are also taking care of the health, eye health.
Good. So in older adults, so let's talk about the age group now, right? So say there is a child who has like hereditarily gotten like a refractive error when that baby was born. When can it be really diagnosed? Like बच्चा कितना बड़ा हो जाता है तो पता चलता है?
पता तो आपको उसके responses से चल जाता है. I mean, when somebody is at a very younger age, maybe a year or so. But it is little difficult to do the refraction at that particular age. If by any chance somebody has to do the refraction, so it has to be done under general anesthesia. So which is not in our purview, which normally happens only in the big institutes. But otherwise, that is the reason when I mentioned before that the parents have to be very aware, and they have to be conscious of the fact that somebody and your kid, if there is, he's not very responsive of your activities at a particular distance, that would be the reason you should be a little concerned about his vision. So you start from home only, basically.
And then when kids go to school, like how do you deal with that? Say a kid goes to school, comes back home and says, "Mujhe to blackboard nazar nahi aa raha," yeah, anything like that. So
see, that level comes very late. But nowadays people are very active that way. Actively participated in many CSR activities, which is doing school surveys, wherein going to the school and do a clinical eye testing to the small kids. So it's very very open nowadays. So that is the reason why people come to know at a very early age that about the refractive errors or about the eye problems. unlike the earlier days, wherein even at the old age, people used to think कि my eyes are fine basically. So उसका भी reason है एक. Why? Because in certain cases, if somebody has a myopia of about -2 or 1.5, and at a age which is beyond 40 or 50, somebody would need the similar power for reading. So he's as good as he doesn't need anything to read.
Right.
So he doesn't realize because the life is not beyond a certain distance.
Right.
So he would never realize that there was a problem. So for him, it's always my eyes are good.
Right. Also, say in younger adults, say in their 20s or teens and all of that, and there is this sense of कि मुझे चश्मा नहीं पहनना है, and people want to avoid it, right? So is it still common, or now people are more open
it's
to
a mixed it's a very mixed thing. It's a very mixed thing. But it's very difficult. More than the kid. I think the parents are so they're sensitive about my kid would be wearing a spectacle, though they know that it's good for them, good for the kid. So, but it comes as a setback. My kid needs glasses, so he has to wear glasses. For kids, normally it is very difficult to handle the glasses. So we have to devise many ways to keep so that the kid should keep on wearing it continuously. So we advise the parents also, and we select a certain set of frames which are more stable on the face rather than going arbitrarily any kind of frame. So they are happy at times. They are happy. They look more intellectual.
I was counting on that when I was younger. Anyways, now let's come to like people who are over 40 or 50s. What would you advise them to take care of their eyes? When, how frequently to get them checked, etc.?
See, at a age above 40, there's certain other problem which might set in, which one has to be very aware of. People may not get into may not get blood pressure, or if somebody has, so he has to be very it affects the eye also. Diabetes affects the eye also. But yes, first step would be to get yourself corrected for the presbyopic correction, which is more important, so that your day-to-day work doesn't get hampered. And but if your systemic problems are there, then obviously you have to be very frequently visiting an ophthalmologist to get your retina checked up, which is more important, which gets affected more easily.
Right. And now this is a general question which just popped up in my mind. You have been in this profession for more than 20 years, I guess, right?
25 years.
25 years. So it's been a quarter of a decade, century. Do you see more people with refractive errors now than you saw before, or is it still the same? Doesn't matter.
It has increased. We cannot define it in a certain terms. The reason being, I personally feel the awareness was very less earlier, and awareness is too high now. So the patients are more now. So probably we can attribute this to more awareness. And the second thing is, yes, the need is also there. You cannot move around without any correction in the in the street. So you have to be you have to get yourself corrected. So I would say it is more awareness, and number of patients are more now. That is the reason people are coming up with more. The problem is huge. And as I told you, around more than 55 million people are there with refractive errors. So still we haven't reached the last mile.
Right. And what kind of technological advancements are happening in optometry and making of a lens, or how to test people? What have you seen in recent times? Recent times,
everything is mechanized, I would say. I mean, less of human intervention, more of mechanism, more of machine interventions, and but machine interventions are more into into diagnosis, right? Diagnosis and management of the disease, to identify, to scan the retina. In case of diabetic retinopathy or any other, and a management of, and helping in the management of the problem, management and treatment of the problem. In case of an optical on optical side, the earlier normal method of eye testing was to go with the refractometer, which is normal retinoscope, which is called retinoscope. That's a handheld retinoscope. So we used to do, it's a long process. And we used to neutralize one lens after the other and neutralize the power in the eye to figure out what exactly could be the power. Nowadays, the machine is there, which is called computer, which is called autorefractometer. So whenever somebody comes into the clinic, so we ask them to sit on the computer. Yeah, computer pe baithe hain, we'll figure out what the power is. And then the second process is the even more. Then we do the subjective testing. Subjective testing is basically the response which we get from the patient
directly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So first of all, the first machine thing is the objective method, and the other method is the subjective method. So subjectively, we put different kind of lenses in front of the eye to figure out this is the chart. Out of the chart, the lowest portion of the or lowest line is able to read or not. So in those cases, now that has been replaced by phoropter.
Okay.
So phoropter is also automated phoropter and manual phoropter. Then the most important part in glass making is the centration. Centration of the eye, which has to be aligned with the center of the lens. So that is the reason we normally take center whenever we book a lens. Right. So taking center is also mechanized now. So that is the latest development. So things are moving out now, moving towards more machine learning and all. So, and the cutting the lens is also under huge automated cutters, which normally whenever we're fitting the lenses, so it used to be manual process earlier. Now it has also been automated.
And manual, I mean hand cutting
and hand etching, hand shaping. So now everything is being done by the automated machine.
Right. Oh, nice.
So that way.
Right. So just for understanding how this process works, so if somebody comes to you, books a lens, then you send you to somebody who could make that lens, right? And then they would send it back to you, and then you would fit it and see if this is working, right? So are these manufacturers different people, or they are also like, or you do it yourself? Like, how does it?
No. See. In any optical unit, there are 4 sets of departments. One is the clinical part, one is the sales part, the technical fitting part. And whenever we book something, we normally discuss about the products first. We finalize the product. Then the product has to, there are companies who make definite products, which we normally select from.
Right.
So we place the order with those companies, and then we get the lenses, and whatever centration, and according to the need, according to the face, according to the frame, and according to the fitting of the frame on the face, we fit the lens accordingly. We cut the lens accordingly, and then when we fit into the frame.
Right.
And there how it is. We try to make it as less error prone as possible.
Right. So, and then couple of questions I have in my mind related to the business of optometry, right? So your company is called Sight Savers, right? If you had to advise somebody who's asking you whether should I start an optometry business versus work somewhere as an optometrist somewhere, what kind of advice will you give, like how to start this business and like how is it nowadays?
Fact is, starting your own businesses nowadays, I think I started at a very apt timing.
Yeah.
Because after that, the business has become so capital intensive. So either it has to be very small, wherein you just make glasses and make good amount of money, but you'll remain there only. But if you want to see, if I am qualified and I want to try to apply all my skill into my work, so wherein I need to get more variety of patients. Variety of patients comes only when somebody is established, somebody has a name, or somebody knows about the subject. So if you want to establish that kind of work, then it is difficult unless you have deep pockets. And but that at the same time, I'm not trying to dissuade somebody to get into this. I started at a very right time with a small and my investment. So, but eventually people helped and recognition. We got the recognition, and we are at a very comfortable stage now. But starting off your own work is always one's dream. You can do your own work. You can, everybody has a dream. How he wants to deal with his clientele, how he wants to develop his clientele, and how to satisfy his clientele. So in somebody else's work, you cannot really, do your kind of work.
Right.
So it's always good to have your own work. But there are certain activities also attached to it.
Right. So if somebody wants to open and something like that, you have an optometrist business, do they need any certification or a license?
Yes, of course.
Nowadays,
yes. We are getting in. We are optometry is a profession wherein we have grown without any government's support. That's the beauty of our field. But nowadays, since the optometry in India started in 1975. So first of all, there were diploma courses which used to be there. Then there were technical courses. Then there were 2 years courses. Now, eventually with time, from 3 years, now it has come over to 4 years, and there is a proposal to make it 5-year course. So, considering the skill set which we will develop eventually in 5 years term, there are limited takers here as of now.
Right.
Probably our field will grow in another decade or so. But as of now, it's not so widely accepted and appreciated about, because you would be competing with the same 1-year guy, 1-year technical, technician, optical technician. So optometry is basically, you have to, the government is definitely recognizing it now under, since we are almost around 50 years old now in optometry, doing optometry in India. So we have an association. We have to, but we have representation. We did representation to the government, and ultimately government has agreed to certain norms which need to be regulated for the optometry. And there are certain regulations which would be taken care in future, which is not there right now. Though because of the population awareness, people do feel they know where they are going. So they also prefer to go to somebody who knows about the subject, who is certified. So, but
there
in
is a system.
future, there is a system which is not well placed as of now, but it would be in future, definitely.
Right.
As the pharma people do have their somebody who wants to open its own pharmacy shop cannot do it unless he has a certificate.
Right. So this would also eventually need it.
Eventually, and the best part is the contact lenses has been brought under Drug Act.
Okay.
So in future, even contact lenses would not be dispensed without any basic knowledge, and from a person who is certified and who knows about the subject. So that way.
And when we started the interview, you said you are dispensing opticians. Like, what does that mean, really?
Dispensing, there are two ways we can define. One is an optician, a basic optician, wherein you take the prescription, you select the frame yourself. There's a little help from the other side, other than the vanity point. This looks better on you, or this doesn't look better on you. And you produce the prescription and tell him what to do, or it would be given on the prescription itself what to do.
Right.
The instructions would be there on the prescription itself. Dispensing optician is starting from the beginning. Somebody comes with a problem, so we try to identify. We try to think about it. We try to figure it out how it can be solved, and then we give the options to the patient. This would be better for you, or the other thing would be better for you. And from my point of view, this should be more comfortable to you. Now, in between the agreeable limits, whatever we settle, we can go for that. But normally, if we figure it out, we normally, it's the opinion which matters. So we give our technical opinion to make it more comfortable to the client and more technically advantageous for him. So that is the dispensing one.
Right. So that's the basic.
That is the basic one, the basic objective.
So my last question now is on eye health.
True.
What would you suggest? Couple of things, or 3 things, 4 things to the audience that they should do to keep their eyes healthy?
Hygiene is the most important part, and awareness is the second thing, and proactiveness is the third thing. Now, if you are aware of a little problem which you are facing, the proactiveness is to go and get it, technically or professionally rectified. So these are 3 major factors what one should be, one should look for.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for answering all our questions and bringing to light something that is generally sometimes not focused on.
I know it's a nice opportunity you guys have provided to say a few things about my profession, and it's a very less known profession. So,
but we see it across like everywhere, but we've never kind of focused on it, what it is, and how it works, right?
It will be you will come to know, but maybe a decade later. Not now.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh.
Pleasure. I hope. Thank you so very much.